Tyron Woodley was overlooked by the UFC for Season 9 of The Ultimate Fighter, and it's something he feels actually helped him in his career. He's just one win away from what many believe should be a title shot. Tyron sat down with us in this week's edition of Open Guard.
From St. Louis, Missouri, introducing the undefeated Tyron Woodley.
I'm Tyron Woodley, 8-0 undefeated professional MMA fighter.
Tyron Woodley is one of Strikeforce's up-and-coming sensations. From his humble beginnings in Ferguson, Missouri, Tyron has overcome many challenges to get to where he is today.
Being the 11th of 13 children definitely made me tougher, It's fighting in the house, fighting for your, food, whatever you had to do, Seeing my mom struggle and the character integrity she had built me, She sacrificed a lot of her stuff on the line, career goals that she wanted to do, everything that she wanted to achieve in her life, traveling, all that thing was put on the back burner, raising us. So for me, doing this, making it at the highest level of my sport, and being able to provide for my family has always been something that's been on the top of my list, And so when I'm fighting, when I'm training, these are the things that run through my mind, this is what I train for, this is what I fight for, and it pushes me and drives me.
Surrounded by a variety of negative influences, Tyron found himself on a path towards destruction.
Well, definitely seeing my life and, seeing my surroundings, mostly my peers, friends of mine that have been killed, shot, in jail, and I had to really stop and think about my life and the direction I was going at. Getting suspended once a week, thinking it was funny, going home, I missed the whole first semester of my freshman year in high school. I was at like a secondary school for 90 days, and that sucked for me. So for me, they put me in ROTC, they tried to put me into one of the teams that were for, behavioral problem kids. My mom was like, heck with that, you better put them on the smartest team. And they did that, thinking they were funny. I excelled. I did way above and beyond what I was supposed to do. And I realized that God blessed me with gifts, not only just to be athletic and naturally, but he blessed me with a strong mind and very mentally tough. So I use sports and athletics, and I realized, hey, if I don't make good grades and I can't get to college, who cares how great of an athlete you are? So I thank God for giving me that epiphany and showing me my life, how I could have been, and showing me how I could have it if I do the right thing.
Determined to make something of himself, Tyron turned to wrestling, where he became a two-time All-American and Big 12 Conference champion at the University of Missouri.
Nobody while working in wrestling or football, and I actually wanted to play football in college. That was my favorite sport. It's still my favorite sport to watch and play. But the coach was like, he's too small, don't worry about him, recruit this guy, he's gonna wrestle in college. So he kind of told the recruiters that I was gonna wrestle, and they kind of said, okay, well, since you're telling guys that, and I started driving my 72 Cutlass up and down the highway, burning gas, going to wrestling camps. And I did all this stuff by myself. I didn't have 3 or 4 guys that wanted to go to wrestling camp in the summer. Everybody wanted to hang out and relax, and I was doing these things, going to tournaments, going to camps. And I put in the work, man. I put in the work in the summertime, and that's what made me a better wrestler, and that separated me from my peers, So when I went out there and wrestled, I was confident. I knew I put in the time. My mind didn't want to lose. Most of the time I wrestled, I didn't even think about losing. I thought about how many takedowns can I get in this match? How many times can I pick this guy up and slam him?
Tyron quickly transitioned into the world of MMA, where he compiled a 7-0 record as an amateur. He tried out for Season 9 of The Ultimate Fighter, but didn't make the final cut.
I really thought I had it in the bag. I looked at the talent, I did great in the interviews, but I think it really boiled down to I wasn't willing to pee on the gloves. I wasn't willing, spitting the guy's hair. I think they was looking for more reality and less talented athlete. Talent-wise, I was the most talented guy that was in the pool. So I flew out to Vegas, I did the whole shebang, but I do think it was a blessing in disguise because I've got to come through in my career. The fans get a chance to know me. I didn't have to sacrifice my integrity and what I'm in this sport for, so my purpose, so people can see me compete on the highest level, smash people, beat them up, and then at the end of the day, I'm still a family man. I love my wife, I love my kids, I believe in God, and I won't let anybody shake me from that. So getting in that environment could have jeopardized that, could have brought out old skeletons. I've been to college before. I like to party at a certain point in my life, and being around that stuff for so long, you're either going to give into it or you're just going to break down and be a miserable person. So for me, I think it was a blessing in disguise. I don't wish I made it. At the time, I didn't understand why, but now I like how my career has gone so far, and I like the future of it.
Making his way to Strikeforce in 2009, Tyron has won all 6 of his fights with the promotion. With his sights set on the Strikeforce welterweight title, Tyron must first get through Daley, who is ranked as one of the 10 best welterweight fighters in the world.
first impression is obviously punching Kyle Chick in the back of the head. You know, I never met the kid before. You know, I didn't watch a ton of his fights, but everybody got this blooming thing that he's just feeling it. You know, I think he's really a guy that trains hard, is a good striker, and he plays into the entertainment part. You know, a lot of people play into the entertainment part, but as a person, I don't mind him at all. You know, it's nothing personal, but at the end of the day, I got to get through him, and I got to get through him in dominant fashion. I can't just beat him. I got to crush him. I got to elbow him. I got to make it an ugly fight, and I got to let everybody know why I should be the #1 guy, you know, in Strikeforce. I think it's gonna be some black on British crime, you know, but I just really want to get out there and show this guy that, you know, if he don't think I'm on this level after this fight, he's gonna know for 100% sure that, you know, I'm a step above his level, because he's a great striker, but this ain't kickboxing, this ain't K1, this ain't Muay Thai, this MMA, and, you know, I'm way better wrestling, way better ground, and I'm not a bad striker either, so he's not gonna just overwhelm me and dominate me in striking. You know, I've sparred with some of the best guys in the game, and I think that, you know, he's one of those guys as far as striking, but also his other 2/3 are lacking, and I'm gonna expose those parts.
With the future shining very brightly for this rising star, Tyron looks ahead to what may be next in his MMA career.
I think it was a great opportunity to be the rising star of, you know, 2010. I think, you know, that was great for January 1st, 2011. But, you know, the next day after that, I want to come from the prospect, the up-and-coming rising star, to the challenger. And then the challenger becomes a champion, and champion becomes a reigning champion. You know, and that's what great guys do, you know. A champion doesn't want to sit here and be rising forever. You know, you got to get there. You got to get through a guy like Paul Daley. You got to get through a guy, you know, that's, you know, top 10 MMA welterweight in the world. And I think my next step is showing you that I should be a top 10 fighter. And I'm going to prove it to you by beating one. And I'm going to do it again by beating another one. I'm going to keep doing it until you realize that I'm one of the best guys in the world in this weight class.